So we are going to start our first of many lessons. Well, I shouldn't say many. It's really not all that many. It's like 4 videos on Hinduism. Hinduism is the last major religion that we are going to be studying. We've looked at Buddhism in China, and we talked about Christianity, Judaism, and Islam when we talked about those major religions before. Normally, we would study Hinduism inside of a unit on the Indus Valley, which is like the India-Pakistan area. But because of time and just wanting to make sure we get through everything and me really wanting to get to Egypt here in May, we're going to just study Hinduism. We're going to skip the Indus Valley. So we're not going to study that ancient civilization at all. We're just going to look at Hinduism. So that way, when we are done with Hinduism, we can look at Egypt at the very beginning of May, which I think will be a really fun unit. I think you guys will like that. So we're going to look at Hinduism today. We'll have 4 videos on Hinduism. We're going to start with talking about Hinduism, the origins of Hinduism. We're going to then talk about the core beliefs in Hinduism. We'll do 2 videos on that one. And then we should do 2 videos as long as it doesn't go out too long. And then we will do a video on Hinduism today and what Hinduism looks like today. So hopefully 4 videos, maybe more than that, depending on how long I talk. You guys know I can be pretty long-winded, so hopefully it will be only 4. But we're going to look at Hinduism, or the origins of Hinduism today. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you and tell you that I don't know a lot about Hinduism. Everything that I know is what I have just currently read about very recently, or I have seen, or what I remember from studying when I was your age. So I'm not an expert by any means, as I haven't been with any of these religions. So I do ask that you're a little bit patient with me as I kind of work us through this unit as best that I can. So Hinduism, instead of me writing like I normally do, what I did was I blacked out the words that you're going to write in your notes, and they're underlined. So it's just an easier way. We know that software wasn't working super well when I used it for China, so instead of kind of fumbling my way through it, I decided to do this instead. So each black box stands for a word or phrase that you're going to need to write or type into your notes. So that's what this is here, to kind of give you an idea of what that is. Hinduism. According to many scholars, Hinduism is the oldest religion in the world. That's according to some scholars. Again, we know people disagree all the time, but scholars believe that Hinduism is the oldest. They believe that it began somewhere around 2300 BCE and 1500 BCE. So somewhere between 2300 and 1500 BCE. Remember, this is before 0, right? So this is before Common Era. So very, very old, much older than Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, definitely older than Islam. And older than Buddhism too, I believe. If I look back here at my notes, we talked about how Buddhism began. Let me see if I can find my notes here. Buddhism began in about 500 BCE. So this is 1,000 years even before that. At least 1,000 years before that. So very old religion. It first emerged in the Indus Valley, which today is known as India and Pakistan. So the Indus Valley, normally we would take time and study the Indus Valley as an ancient civilization. We don't have that time. It's just not going to fit in with the rest of the school year. So we're just looking at Hinduism because it's a major religion that came out of that area, and we're just going to have to kind of go with it. And what you learn about the Indus Valley from this unit will be kind of what your unit is on that. So the Indus Valley is an area around India and Pakistan, and I'll show you a picture here in a minute of where that area would have been today, like what it looks like today. But the Indus Valley is right along there, is where it first emerged. So Hinduism is very different from Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, extremely different. And it's even very different from Buddhism. Buddhism actually pulls some things from Hinduism because Hinduism came first. So Buddhism pulls like the idea of reincarnation and the idea of karma that we see in Buddhism came from Hinduism first. So Hinduism is very, very different. Unlike other religions, Hinduism doesn't have a founder. We talked about in Jewish history how Abraham was considered the founder, Jesus is the founder of Christianity, Muhammad is the founder of Islam. We even had the prince who was the founder of Buddhism. It's not like that way with Hinduism. Instead, it's a combination of many different beliefs that were put together into one religion. So instead of it being one person or one group of people that kind of made up the rules or divine or received instructions from God or something, it's not like that. It was really just kind of a bunch of different traditions that kind of morphed itself into Hinduism. Because of this, Hinduism isn't like one set religion. There's many different ways to practice Hinduism, which we're going to talk about when we get into core beliefs. So I'm not going to talk about it too much now. It's based largely on the beliefs of ancient Aryans. So these were invaders who came from the Indus River Valley from Central Asia. So there was these ancient people, they were called the Aryans. They were an invading civilization group. They kind of traveled around the area and invaded in different places and kind of made settlements. So they came to the Indus Valley from Central Asia. They lived by herding cattle and fighting. So they were very nomadic, which means that they traveled quite a bit. And so a lot of the beliefs that we see in Hinduism come from these ancient Aryans. Now, like we said, not all of them, because the religion is very widespread. It's very different than what we would think of. There's no set rules or way to do things in Hinduism. It's kind of this combination of different things, which is very hard for us to wrap our heads around because we're not used to that. We're used to something more like Christianity, which kind of has more of a set way of doing things. When we get into core beliefs of Hinduism, this will make a little bit more sense. But for right now, we're just kind of talking about the origins. And there's not a lot that's known about the origins, which is why that's it. That's all that we have for the origins of Hinduism notes. Let me show you where this took place here. So if I took the Indus River Valley, let me take a picture, some images here. So this is kind of the Indus River Valley where we would have seen this. So today it looks like this. Let me move my head here. So this is India. On a map you can find India pretty easily. It's in Asia. It's a peninsula. And so we have India and Pakistan. And the Indus Valley are all around this river here, which is the Ganges River, I believe. And maybe I'm wrong. The Indus River. I'm sorry, it's the Indus River. The Ganges is over here. So that's the Indus River, which is why it's called the Indus River Valley. That makes sense. Come on, Miss Westingo. So it was this area here where this religion first started. Now, like I said, we would normally do an entire unit. We're not going to. We're actually going to stop here today talking about the Indus River Valley, or talking about Hinduism and the origins of Hinduism. When we pick up on the next video, we'll start talking about the core beliefs of Hinduism. We're going to talk about some of the major gods that are worshipped, because Hinduism is polytheistic, so we're going to talk about some of the major gods that are worshipped. We're going to talk about the different religious texts that are used and things like that. We'll talk about the different words and the caste system. There's lots of things we're going to unpack here in Hinduism, so stay tuned. There's no homework tonight, but tomorrow you're going to do a News ELA article on the rise of Hinduism. So instead of making it all in one day, we kind of spaced it out into 2. So you're going to do that tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can send us an email or drop a comment on Google Classroom. Good luck, guys.